transitioning to more like pro tips for like investors, people that want to house hack, things along those lines. So could these products be used by investors to do things like flips or buy rental properties, things along those lines?
Yes, they can be used by investors. Our investor products are a little bit slimmer. So if you were strictly investing, didn't want to live in the home, you're limited to single families, and they do require 20 or 25% down. But if a lot of the customers that come to us that want to do the multi-units, they buy them as a primary residence. They live in one side for a short amount of time, between 1 to 2 years, rent out the other 3 sides. Yes, you can renovate all 4 sides, and then eventually move out and rent all 4 of them.
Gotcha.
That's what I would recommend for, they say house hacking. I would look at an FHA product, buy 3 to 4 units with as little as 3.5% down.
Right.
Live in one side for 1 year to 2 years, and then rent out the other 3 units.
And then using that strategy there, could someone potentially like income qualify for it by using the income from the property itself?
Yes. They can use the income of the other 3 units. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, so they can really kind of up their buying power by going that strategy.
Yep,
there.
absolutely. And when you buy 3 to 4 units, your FHA loan limits are much larger.
Gotcha. And then so if I wanted to do something like this, like what is the maximum number of things I could get under this renovation loan product? Is it 2?
Yeah, so we're capped at 4.
4.
You can't have 4 mortgages. If you have 4 mortgages on your credit report, we cannot do a renovation loan. If you have 3 or fewer, we can do 1, up until 4.
Gotcha.
Which is a little bit different than a normal mortgage. Normal mortgage, you could have up to 10 on the credit report.
Okay, so if like an investor wanted to use this product, it would be better suited for like a person just starting investing. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Once they start to build their portfolio, maybe they go to more tailored products and stuff like that.
Yep.
No, but I love that the people can live in the one unit and kind of build up to this and do the first 2 or 3 projects.
Yep,
and pretty
absolutely.
safe overall, that good stuff there. And then kind of looking at it from like a business standpoint, can I put the loan itself in the name of my LLC, or does it have to be like an individual? Like
So this is a great question. I get this a lot. We personally, you have to buy it in your personal name.
Okay.
But you can buy it and then transfer it into your LLC, which is what I recommend my customers do. They buy it and then they just transfer the deed into an LLC after. It does cost a little bit of money. You got to pay for a title company to kind of change the deed.
Sure.
But that's how I would suggest doing it.
So rolling back then to that question I just asked, if they were doing that strategy, does that eliminate that 4 limit? Does it drop it down?
It does, yeah, because that property is no longer in your name. Now, when it gets tricky is if it's in your credit report.
Okay.
So as long as it's on your credit report, we'll see that you own those properties.
Gotcha. Okay, so not can't get too tricky. Right
Yeah,
there.
no, but I mean, if you can eventually build up your portfolio enough to where people are paying you enough cash flow and you can pay off the properties and then transfer them into an LLC, then that's when you kind of can start over again, if that makes sense.
That does make sense there. And then I know we talked earlier about the after repair value, or the ARV. So like, how is that calculated? If I'm like at home, what is the best way for me to try to calculate?
Yeah, so really the appraiser is going to give us the after improved value. Simply put, it's going to be the price of the property that you purchased it for, plus the cost of the renovations. Now it gets a little bit tricky when you're adding or subtracting stuff that doesn't really add value, but it's pretty similar to going to be purchase price plus improvements equals after improved value.
Okay, so they're not necessarily, I don't need to look at like all the comparables in the area to get that.
Well, you definitely would.
Okay.
You definitely do need to look at comparables. Like, you don't want to just, what I suggest is go find the cheapest house in the nicest neighborhood. That's the perfect home for renovation. If you go into a house if you go into a neighborhood that's all $300,000 houses and you buy one for $320,000 and you want to put $200,000 into it, probably not going to appraise.
Okay.
Now, the FHA product is special where we can lend on 110% of the appraised value. So basically, it needs to appraise at 90% of the total acquisition cost.
Okay.
Total acquisition cost is going to be purchase price plus improvements.
Gotcha. And that's only for FHA though. That wouldn't apply to like conventional.
Yeah, it would not apply to conventional.
Okay, perfect. And then I guess this is more throwing it back to you. So like, let's say I want to leverage these renovation loans to the best of my ability. Like, what pro tips do you have that you would suggest someone doing?
Yeah, pro tips are going to be what we talked about earlier, which is buying the multi-unit. I think that's the key to investor or basically starting your portfolio. Buy a 3 to 4 unit as a primary residence. You're only putting 3.5% down. Rent out the other 3 sides. Live in it for a year, maybe 2 years. Save up some more money. Get your 5% down. So that way, when you move out of that property, you now have 4 units cash flowing, and then you have 5% down to buy your next property.
Gotcha. Okay. And then are there like any other type of finance products that can be combined with this that would be useful in your mind? Like, I know sometimes my standard loans, I'll have like down payment assistance programs and stuff like this, but is there any like unusual interactions that would be worth looking at?
Yeah, so we can't do down payment assistance. One thing that you may consider energy efficient mortgage programs to finance, like solar panels or things of that nature. So that way you can kind of, along those lines with like solar panels, there may be tax benefits, so tax breaks. So obviously reach out to a tax professional for those kind of questions. But that would be something that you could pair up with a renovation loan, is working on making the home energy efficient and then using that for tax breaks purposes.
Gotcha. That makes sense there. And then just kind of wrapping this all up, is there any other like topics, any things that are worth talking about regarding renovation loans that you'd like to share with anyone?
You know, I think we did a great job covering the majority of it. What I suggest, if you have clients, if you're an agent and you have clients that are coming to you, I would first ask them, do they have any appetite for renovation loans? You're gonna have customers that are like, absolutely not, I want nothing to do with it, and that's fine. Sure. Renovation loans can save the deal. I'm not gonna say it's always gonna happen, but have you ever lost a contract to a whole house inspection?
Definitely,
Definitely, right? Yeah. So you have a house that's trying to go FHA and it comes back and the appraisal is subject to, in most cases, dead deal, right? Because the seller's not going to be willing to pay for it. I'm moving out. Why would I pay for these renovations? Right. And the buyer's like, well, I don't want to buy the house if it doesn't have, this, or this. Well, that's where the renovation comes in to save the deal, where we can actually lend on those subject to appraisals, because we know we have a contractor in place who's going to get those renovations done, and now that home qualifies for an FHA mortgage.
That's huge.
So that's probably something that I would like to, add that we didn't cover, is that renovation loans can save deals sometimes. Sometimes you get into a deal not thinking about renovation loans, and then that appraisal comes back, and you give me a call and say, hey, how can I save this deal?
No, that is huge, because it's going to restart the timeline anyway for the seller. So might as well explore every option you possibly can. And sometimes, like you said, it's like $5,000 that will save it. It's not like these huge numbers.
Right. And they want the house. They put an offer in. Right. So it can save the deal in a lot of cases.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time, Fargo. I really appreciate that. Now, let's say our guests want to go find you somewhere. Just give me a shout out, like your phone number, your email, and all your social medias, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So phone number, West Virginia boy 304-479-2473. Email fargo.c@grarate.com. Social medias, Fargo Camerlengo on Instagram. That's FargoCamerlengo Instagram. And once you find my Instagram, you'll be able to find the rest of them.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Fargo. I really appreciate your time. This has been super informative.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions for Fargo, definitely hit him up. He's one of my partners. Like I said, him and Libby, they're my tag team people. So if you need anything, please reach out to Fargo or myself. We'd love to assist you and get some renovations going. Thank you for your time, Fargo.
Yeah, awesome. This was great. Yeah.
Thanks for making it through the video. Zack Linder here from Zack Linder and the Zack Pack, powered by Coldwell Banker. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does support our channel. We really appreciate it. And check out one of these other videos while you're here. Have a great day.